Welcome to Starboard Consulting's Maximo Coffee Chat. This is the third and final in our Maximo summer series, but don't worry, we have a great fall session coming your way soon. Again, today is September 14th, and today we're going to be talking about Maximo Mobile. Amy, thank you so much for, again, leading today's discussion.
All right. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. My name is Amy Tatum. I'm with Starboard Consulting. Starboard is a Maximo IBM business partner and implementer. We just celebrated our 14th anniversary this summer and are excited to be part of the Maximo community. We do implementations across a lot of industries, mostly in the utilities sector and aviation and airports, and implement a broad range of IBM solutions, including utilities, transportation, and mobile products, which is what we're going to talk about here today. As Alex said, this is the last of our summer series. So we started off in July with KPIs with Pam and Lonnie. And then I spoke with Tom Sorensen back in August about Maximo 8, also known as Manage, and the integration capabilities there. And today I'm joined by Vinicius, who's going to talk to us about Maximo Mobile and particularly the mobile inspections. So hard to believe into summer is here. Labor Day was just a weekend or two ago, and I was on the phone with a client talking about snow training recently, and here it's 90 degrees and storming outside. So kind of crazy. But Vinicius, thanks for joining me today. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick and tell us a little bit about you and your Maximo background.
All right. Thanks for this opportunity, Amy. Hello, everybody. My name is Vinicius Garment. I've been working in IBM for 13 years already. And similar to Starboard, I've been playing most of my time so far around Maximo for utilities customers over these last years, and quite natural for these customers in particular. The need to have really mobile tools, and that's exactly where I've been spending most of my time lately, not just around Maximo Mobile and inspections, which we started really a while ago, but really the whole new user experience of Maximo, including mobile, which is really part of the modernization effort that we are doing around Maximo. So this is me. I've been in IBM 13 years. Before IBM, I was a customer. Playing with Maximo also for quite some time, but let's not talk about numbers now. I don't want to feel old today.
That's good that you came from a customer background, because it gives you a different perspective than folks that have been on the implementation side the whole time. So that's kind of fun. All right, so Maximo Mobile, lots of great stuff coming out there. One application now instead of all of the individual apps that were part of Anywhere. The whole follow the blue button concept with the intelligent workflows and the configurability of the forms is huge. I know that's something that we've been wanting to come for a while now. Of course, it works in a connected and disconnected state. So tell us a little bit about Maximo Mobile. What's different? How is this one?
Yeah, there is a long story behind Maximo Mobile, really. And the intent of Maximo Mobile was really to not just create like another mobile product for the Maximo portfolio, but bring some of the lessons learned from our previous experiences. So let's talk a little bit about that. One, and you guys might be familiar with that, which we call the work centers. Mm-hmm. So that was our first initiative around the role that someone might have in the field. So instead of having Maximo Power Applications, 100 attributes for you to enter information, let's get straight to the point, what that persona have to do and how fast he can complete his job. And we succeeded in that user experience. It was well received, including some challenges. So one of them is really the lack of configuration. And being a Maximo user, it's expected really for customers to play with the UI, change the content, introduce new information there, and that was not supported. The second, as we move more to the role side and have a web application, which was a work center targeted to a mobile device, the lack of offline support in those applications came up hardly for us. And really, that's where we are coming with Maximo Mobile, trying to have the configuration that we didn't have before, either with Anywhere and Work Centers, with the user experience that we introduced as part of Work Centers into a single application. And again, the intent is really to start simple, not be compared to a full power user application as we have in Maximo in many different areas, but really get what the technician and the inspector needs on top of their hands quickly, faster, and in a way that an end user consumer would leverage a mobile tool today, which is going to an application store, downloading an application, installing their devices, and they are good to go.
They're good to go. Yeah. I sat in on some of the product development meetings early on with the work centers and going through the personas, and I forget all of their names now, but you know, what would each person need to see and need to do? And that was a good viewpoint, because I think a lot of the mobile products do just take desktop Maximo and put it in a new form factor to take it mobile, and having that app-based kind of intuitive screen set and flow, workflows and things are really important for the users, and just that download capability. Just go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download that and be able to connect it is great. So
and this is really the modern user experience. So we are trying to bring that to the enterprise world where Maximo fits, because now we all have phones, we all have tablets, we go to the applications, we download something, and honestly, if it doesn't work, it might take you 5-10 minutes to realize that. You would remove and get to a new one.
Right.
So that's what we are trying really to get rid of with this new user experience, and really have it up and running as soon as possible for the end user.
Okay, well, that's great. So another thing that's different, I mean, even talking about the downloads, I think in the prior, like Anywhere, if you were a technician who happened to also have some inventory management roles, you had to download 2 apps. So now I can just download the single app, right, and get access to whatever I need based on that.
Exactly. And again, that's kind of the role concept that we are getting feedback from the field. You don't have to jump to application A to application B in order to achieve like an end-to-end scenario. And that's what we have in mobile right now, even having like these screenshot as you were seeing here, which we call the Navigator, with many different functionalities. As a user flow, it should be transparent, regardless the application that you were connecting.
Right.
And again, moving forward, the expectation is really to bring some of those capabilities to the same application and use the same Maximo that you have, the same security groups, to determine who is going to receive what, and that should flow to the single mobile application that we have in the end user device.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, I know we could talk about this a lot, but I think probably everybody on the line is anxious to just see it. So I think you're prepared to give us a quick demo, right?
Sure. So let me share my screen here real quick. And let me put these in the background for now. And here, what you were seeing in the middle of the screen is actually a mobile device that I have here. It's a tablet that I have connected, sorry. This one here. And what you were seeing here in my screen is actually 2 different applications. And let me pause here for a second. So these 2 applications can really be found in our application stores. And the content for them are exactly the same. So you can go to an application store and you will find Maximo Mobile for EAM, which is really the version that we have targeted for 7612 customers. And we also have the white one, which is the Maximo Mobile, which is targeted for the application suite, the Maximo 8, as you probably have heard before.
Oh, yes.
Inside the application is manage, exactly. And inside the application is mostly the same. The only difference is that going to the application suite, you are going to authenticate differently from what we have in the 7.6 version. And just talking about authentication, which is also one of the most common issues we are hearing from from mobile products is really how to connect to my Maximo server, because customers can do single sign-on, can do server-side authentication. So Maximo Mobile currently supports 5 different ways to authenticate to your Maximo server. So from all the cases that we have so far, it's just some light configurations to have single sign-on, 2-factor authentications, everything that you have in your enterprise working with Maximo Mobile, because again, it's intended really to be a pluggable solution to what you have today in your Maximo. So once I log really to Maximo Mobile, you will see what we call the Navigator, which is this blue screen. And again, based on my security settings in the same Maximo server that I have, it will expose or hide a few things based on really the role that I'm performing. So today, we are really going to focus the inspector. And the inspection was a journey that we started back on 7/6/08, 2017, if I'm not wrong, with a work center to be really a brand new Maximo application using the new user experience that we introduced. And we quite succeed on that. We have more than 100 customers using inspections, and those are really the ones that we've heard from the support side, where we have easy access. Other customers might have implemented it, even asking or having any challenges during that implementation, because the intent is, again, to be pretty straightforward and easy to use. So the same forms that you have today in Maximo, you can associate those or not to a work order, and you can really configure these forms to collect whatever the information that you have prepared to collect. And just to give you a flavor on that, and that's really the capability that we use in Maximo today. Here is my mouse. I'm really talking about the manage inspection form side. So here, you don't need to call any services. You don't have to customize anything other than really going to an editor like this, create a revision or create a new form, for example, and be able to define what is exactly what you expect to collect as part of that inspection. So in this example, I created a pump inspection here and associated that to a work order that I have as part of my mobile product here. So as you can see, we have here in the bottom a pump inspection. And remember that I mentioned the role, the ability really to have different capabilities integrated. So in mobile, you see that this is actually tied to a calibration work order, and I can really jump to the work order to see the details of this work. And from here, this is what we call the technician right now. You have all the work details, including all the materials you have, all the tasks that you have to perform in this work order, including the ability to see work history, everything that happened in this particular asset before. And even if I'm really working in other tasks in this work order and I want to jump and collect that inspection result, that is supported, because in the end, we are aiming one user experience, one single flow. So back to inspections here, and you will see this quite heavily being used, is what we call the touch points. So work orders might have a different set of touch points, which are these icons here in the top. And from an inspections perspective, we use the touch points really to give you, in one click, the instructions that you might have to know, and you have configured to be part of that inspection form. So even before starting that inspections, I have the ability to go there. And again, talking to our background here, utilities customers and some others, most of them have the need to see these inspections, these work orders, maybe in a map. So if I jump to one of these records here, and this is actually using one service from Esri, I can see exactly where is the location of every single inspection, every single work order that I have assigned to me today. And being a map coming from Esri, I can turn on and off the layers as well as the pinpoints for each one of the inspections. And as you can see, I still have the same information from the record, and I have all the same records that I had in my list before. And again, talking about these lists here in the top, I'm just looking right now at the assigned inspections, but if you are familiar with what we had before, you will see that we also have the pendings, the inspections that are in progress, and mobile is intended to be configurable. So if I want really to expose new sets of lists here for different users, I can do that using the configuration tool.
Okay.
So
quick question for you. Back on that map view, you said that's an Esri map service.
yes.
Do I need to be a spatial customer to use that, or is that just a publicly available like ArcGIS Online service?
Right now, with the latest release, we are leveraging spatial so far.
Okay.
We are already working on our next release, which is targeted by the end of October, to not use just spatial maps, but any public map available that can be leveraged with a map manager will be exposed as part of mobile. Okay, there might be some differences there.
Sure.
The Esri, for example, provides us the ability to have the map in an offline mode. So I can really disconnect and I still have the same information available, while when you are using a public map, that initially will be available just in a connected mode.
Well, I mean, we find that most of our clients, the folks that need the maps are the folks that are out in the field. And, more and more with 4G and 5G coverage being as easily available as it is, our field workers have fewer connectivity problems than our plant workers do. It's the guys that are in the plant down in the basement with all the, operating equipment and concrete and metal walls and things that have the connection issues. More so than the fieldwork users now. So I think that connected map is becoming less and less of an issue than it might have been, years ago. I mean, when I first started implementing Maximo, people carried around paper map books in their trucks. So we've come a long, long way.
They didn't have any connectivity issues at that time, for sure.
Yeah, no connectivity at all, as long as you didn't spill your coffee on your maps. You're good.
But on the other hand, no one knows if they are really using the latest version of that map,
sure.
really.
Yeah, it was a big production to replace the map.
And it's unbelievable right now, the amount of information that we can have in the palm of our hands using these mobile products, really. And imagine right now, just with inspections, let me start this one here. And again, with inspections, you have the ability, as I mentioned before, to add instructions. So any kind of documentation, procedure that you might have printed before, for example, now you have it here, ready, tied to the inspection that you were doing with a click away. So I can just click here and get different sets of information, either from the inspection at all, or really for the individual question that I'm working on. So
that's really, the different icons there for the yes and no. That's a good example of how that's configurable to.
Yeah, the whole user experience and what we present is really configurable. You can just define what you want to present in an inspection form, and it will be ready here. And of course, right now with mobile, we still have the same icons, the same capabilities, but the look and feel, as we moved more to the mobile side to make an application to fit in a smartphone, might be slightly different from what we used to have in the work center before. But the capabilities are the same, including, for example, the conditional question. So if I respond yes to this first one, you will see that I cannot complete my inspection form anymore until I respond the other questions here. So I can see it's leaking, for example. Oops.
And as you're typing, I'm assuming device capabilities around talk to text and stuff are all going to be there, right?
Yes, they are all there. And the reality is that they just emulate a keyboard.
Sure.
So if I have that capability, I can use that right away, including the ability here maybe to take a photo and use my camera or any other application. For example, let me take a photo of this pump here. I have it here for my demos. To include, and again, as we expand more to the mobile side, you will see that more and more, as you mentioned, the connectivity might not be an issue, But in the other hand, we still have those spotty connections sometimes where I will simply lose my connectivity. And let's pretend right now that I'm not connected. So the application is intended to continue working as it is. So I can continue collecting my inspection form here. I can say everything is median here, temperature normal, noise level is high. And you can see in my inspection form, I can also configure feedback for the inspector. In other words, when something is going wrong, etc., we can notify that user about that condition. And in our latest release of inspections, we actually introduced the same capability for numeric responses, which is something that was not available before. So for example, if I say my pressure is 90 here, you will see that, okay, it's normal. If I change it to 110, for example, I can say, no, now it's too high.
That's nice.
And the same flow is supported. Any kind of follow-up questions that I can have based on that response can be used in an inspection form. And again, let's suppose that I went back here and you see the icon down in the bottom. It is red. Once it detects the connection to my server, it's changed to green. And my data was submitted to my Maximo server, and that should be transparent to the end user. So even if you lose connectivity, if your server is down, you will still be able to continue your work regardless if you have synced before or not. We assume that the entire information that you need really to perform your work, to perform your inspection, as we present that in mobile, we have everything that you need to work in that record in disconnected mode.
Yeah.
So it's a different approach. I don't have to sync everything. I don't have to get hundreds of records as lookup data, for example, to have domains and all, other than assume that I will always have the information that I need on top of my hands.
Yeah. So the outlet pressure reading being too high, obviously condition monitoring has been around in Maximo for a long, long time, but one of the things we've used pretty successfully with the inspection forms is the take action feature. So as I'm completing the inspection and I get to the end of it, I've got that take action option, which will generate follow-up work orders or even perform other actions. So I assume that's still available. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes, that's still available, and the technology is the same. So for those that are familiar with Maximo, and the requirement that we had from customers was, okay, can I create a service request? Can I send an email? Can I create a work order? Can I use my questions to define my work order priority based on role A, B, C, D, etc.? And I said, no way that we can create something out of the box that fits for everything.
Right.
And our approach was really to use the scripting engine from Maximo to provide that capability, that flexibility. And that's really supported with mobile. The only difference is that, okay, we are triggering that action to be executed in the server side. So if you're really disconnected, I still have the ability to click here, create my work order. And in this case, I don't have GL. I'm getting a warning message because I am connected. Otherwise, I would get an action saying, okay, it was executed, and that will be executed during sync. And any errors that can come out of that transaction, mobile will have a list of errors for you to click and review. So that's really the power of mobile. And again, in order for you to get up and running with mobile and inspections, the expectation is really pretty simple. You should go there, leverage the forms that you have, leverage the PMs, the work orders, the same planning activities that you do today in your Maximo, and just make that available as part of mobile to the same user that you have in Maximo, to the same security group that you play with for the users that you have, and mobile will be there to support you to collect those inspections regardless of the connection status as I just presented.
Okay. Well, that's great. On the errors, if those are executed server side, so the user doesn't know about it immediately and maybe they've moved on to another job by then, are the errors also presented on the server side? So somebody back in the office maybe could be the one to deal with those?
Mobile is intended to behave like an integration to Maximo. So the same errors that we are seeing in the UI, if I have an IT guy that is monitoring any integration queue, these errors will be presented inside Maximo as well as a failed transaction.
Okay, cool. All right. So we've only got a few minutes left. There's a couple messages in the chat. One is on the asset location drawings from buildings. We looked at the Esri map and the fact that that's going to be supporting other publicly available maps. I know we've worked with some clients who have used Esri to create 3D building models as well. So I would assume those could be exposed. Have you seen anybody else that's done some interesting work with plant-based mapping tools?
Yes, and that is really a requirement that we are expanding here, and as we expand really to manage Maximo inside the application suite, the broader of use cases that we support is even bigger than what we have in Maximo today. So the map component that we play inside mobile is the same that you will see now in the application suite. And next year, we are planning really to introduce indoor mappings also as part of the same map components. Yeah. And again, whatever you have configured today in your Esri side, if that's available for mobile, that would be downloaded and run inside the mobile product as well.
Okay. So what about the mobile product and the application suite? And with the application suite, we've got additional apps, the visual inspection, assist, things like that. So what is integrated with Maximo Mobile and that as we look ahead to the mass?
So as I mentioned here, we have a set of functionalities that might be available, for example, in both sides, so 7.6 customers and the application suite. As you were seeing here, for example, my schedule, materials and tools, maps, inspections are really available for both. But as we expand to the application suite, as we expand in mobile, you will see more and more tiles as part of Navigator. Some of them are only available in the application suite, and mainly the ones that are more AI related. And again, as we expand and we want to differentiate really Maximo Mobile, this is not just a work execution application. It's not just an inspection application, but we want to take care of our main asset, which is the technician. So the technician might be a junior, the technician might be someone that is going maybe to a hazard area and might need additional information and monitoring. So as we expand really to the application suite, you will see capabilities like parts identifier, to take a picture of an asset, for example, or a spare part and know what that is. You will see capabilities like assist, and assist is really to provide you not just like a text search, but an AI capability to try and find in the context of the work order or the inspection that you are executing, what are actually the documentation that fits for that need. Or in some cases, reach out to a remote expert in order to connect and have really an augmented collaboration session where someone remote can point things using your camera to what you have to do. And that knowledge is also preserved there.
Okay, fantastic.
So we will expand more and more really to the AI side as we go more to the application suite, but we continue building the applications for 7.6. The next release now will come the approvals application, as part of mobile, and service requests as well. And as we expand, mobile is not just a mobile product. It's really a platform that allows you to configure any one of these applications as well as to create your own and expose as part of mobile like a cloned application inside Maximo.
Right.
So it's really unlimited what you can do with mobile today. And the same tools that we are using as a development organization are part of the platform that you are receiving with this mobile product.
Right. So further development is possible if what's there downloaded out of the box, so to speak, from the App Store isn't what you need. There's that capability to extend it.
Yes.
All right. Well, we are just about out of time, so I know that you can talk about this for a long time, and I can listen, and we've got lots of customer stories just to share as well. So thanks so much for your time today. It was great chatting with you, and we're excited about what Maximo Mobile's got in store for us as we get more and more clients moving in that direction. So you guys have a fantastic afternoon, and everyone on the line, thank you for joining us. We will make this available as a replay. And if you have any questions or need any assistance with your Maximo implementation, feel free to call us.